Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men of great millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. And salutations to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 men of Yasharallah, and the one-third men, women, and children of Yasharallah. Shalom. This is your brother Shamya, coming back at you one more time from the Great Millstone held in the Montana camp. And we're going to jump right into this lesson. We ain't going to waste no more time. And we always like to make a disclaimer. We are not a hate group, and we are not an extremist group. We are a truth group, and we only bring out the truth according to the Bible, according to the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Okay? So the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, the Spirit jump on me to do this lesson. And I when I go to the gym, Akim, I do a lot of cardio, okay? And it's this one particular machine that they have at the gym that I go to, and it's called the Jacob's Ladder. The first thing that came on my mind, Akim, when I started getting on this machine and started working out on this machine, it just the Lord put it on my spirit, and it just took me like right to the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Right to the scriptures. Like, I definitely got to do a lesson on this. You know what I'm saying? And but anyway, this machine that is at the gym that I go to is called Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder. So you can see why, the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai put it on my spirit to, do this lesson, because what I'm saying, it just made sense. That's why the Lord wanted me to do it. But this machine is called Jacob's Ladder. So I'm gonna just give a little info on this machine, right? That's called Jacob's Ladder. Okay, and this is a little info on the machine. Jacob's Ladder says this: Jacob's Ladder is a non-motorized, self-paced exercise machine designed for high-intensity, low-impact, full-body conditioning. It mimics a continuous ladder climb at a fixed 40-degree angle, requiring users to use their arms and legs in a bear crawl motion. And this is a very high intense machine, Akim. Just to when you get on it, it's not easy. So it's gonna take a little while for you to get used to it. It's definitely a workout, definitely. But I've been on this machine for about 3 months now, and I can stay on it now for like 10 minutes, but it's still high intensity, and it's just but it's good, but basically, the machine is called Jacob's Ladder. So we us Akim, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and the elders apostle Great Millstone, the Lord set up. When the Lord put the Spirit on us to do a certain lesson, boom, there it is. We got to do it. But it's called Jacob's Ladder. So of course we gotta, but that's where Esau gets the name for this machine from. He got it from the Bible, He got it from the Bible. But I'm gonna do this lesson real quick, because when it's talking about Jacob's Ladder, right? These wacky tacky Christians, when they have their church sessions and shit, they'll try to make it seem like that's it's talking about them, the heathens. They're a part of this thing of ours, when it has nothing to do with it don't have nothing to do with you heathens, and it damn sure don't have nothing to do with Esau Edom. Okay, this is talking about a thing of ours amongst the Israelite family. Okay, and we're gonna prove it. Now we're gonna go to this real quick, right? Because this is an account in the book of Genesis. This is an account in the book of Genesis. let's go to Genesis chapter 28 and verse 12. Okay, now this is an account with Jacob, and we're going to read it real quick. This is Genesis chapter 28 and verse 12. But I'm going to start at verse 10 first. Now, in the New Living Translation by verse 10 to Genesis 28, the New Living Translation title, it reads Jacob's Dream at Bethel. Okay? So let's read this real quick. This is Genesis 28, and I'm going to read verse 10 on down to 14. So it reads, and Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he lighted up a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of all the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and laid down in that place to sleep. Verse 12, and he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai ascended and descended on it. Verse 13, and behold, the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai stood above it and said, I am the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, power of Abraham thy father, and the power of Isaac. So right there, it always says that in the scriptures, from the Old Testament to the New Testament, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Lord is not the Lord don't give a damn about these other heathen ass nations. These heathen ass nations they have their gods. Our God, our power, of the Israelites, us, because we're the real Hebrew Israelites, Yasharallah, right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we have a God. And our God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we're going to prove it. I'm going to read it again. Verse 13. It says, and behold, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, stood above it and said, I am the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, God of Jacob, thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. This is the seed, right? Because Jacob had 12 sons, right? The 12 patriarchs of Israel, right? It said it right here. It said, and the Lord said it to Jacob, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed, right? Verse 14, it says, and thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, right? Because the children of Israel are the dust of the earth, the sand of the sea, right? You know, and thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And see, now these wacky-tacky Christians, they'll take this verse and say, see, God said that through Jacob, all the families of the earth will be blessed. That means everybody on the entire earth. No, it's not. No, it's talking about Israel, the families of Israel. Okay? All the families of the nation of Israel. That's what this is talking about. And we're going to prove it. Now, this is Genesis chapter 28 and verse 12, right? Because Genesis 28 and 12, it reads, and he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven, and behold, the angels of Yahweh ascended and descended on it, right? This is Genesis chapter 28 and verse 12. In the Easy Version translation, it reads, he had a dream. In the dream, he saw some steps. The steps went up from the earth into heaven. God's angels were going up and down the steps. Just like this, like at that machine, Akim. When I be on that machine, the Lord just put it on my spirit, you know, that that machine is symbolic. And the Lord, when I'm on that machine, that Jacob's ladder machine, the Lord give me the strength and the endurance and the agility to climb that Jacob's ladder, and I can be on it for like 10 minutes now. So, you know, it's beautiful. All praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Now, this is Genesis chapter 28 and verse 12. In the Expanded Version translation, it reads, And he saw angels, parentheses, messengers of God, going up and coming down, parentheses, ascending and descending on the ladder, right? Because the angels, the angels are not descending and ascending down. They're not descending down to no heathen ass nations and being and they're looking out for the heathens and Esau and all these heathen. No, it's only for us, Jacob, Israel, Yasharallah. The angels are here for us, protecting us. You know, the Israelites. Now, I want to read John chapter 1 and verse 51. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Now, this is John 1 and 21. Okay? John 1, Salakia, John 1 and 51. This is John 1 and 51. And it reads, this is Yahweh Shai speaking in the New Testament. Okay? And it says, and he said, because Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, the Lord and Savior of Israel, from the tribe of Judah, right? He's an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Okay? And he's the Savior and deliverer of his people, Israel. This is Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 51. And it says, and he saith unto him, verily, verily, I say unto you, hereafter, ye shall see heaven open, and the angels of Yahweh ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. See, just like what we read in Genesis chapter 28 and verse 12 to 14, we read in the New Testament, right? The angels are here for us. They're for us, the Israelites, not no damn heathens, right? Now this is John 1 and 51. I'm going to read it one more again. It says, and he said to him, okay? He said, and this is how I speaking. And he said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto you, hereafter, ye shall see heaven open, and the angels of Yahweh ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. Right? You know? Let's read, go back to Genesis 28 and 14, because this is what I want to read to prove that the angels are for us, the Lord's people, Israel, Yasharallah. Okay? Now this is Genesis chapter 28, verse 14, when it says right here, it says, and thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south, and to thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Right? So now we look, see, the elders of Apostle Great Millstone, they teach us how to go into these words. We go into the blue letter, right, for that word family in Genesis 28 and 14, for families. And it reads, Strong's Concordance H4940 for families. This is Genesis 28 and 14 for families. Strong's Concordance H4940. It reads, this is in the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon. Okay? The Brown Driver Briggs lexicon. It says a family connection of individual, individual, right? And Passover, right? This is from the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon. It says a family connection of individual and Passover, right? And then it gives you the precept. Exodus chapter 12 and verse 21. Remember, we read this in Genesis 28 and 14 for families. Strong's Concordance H4940. And the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon, it says a family connection of individual and Passover. And it gives you Exodus 12 and 21, right? And then the rest of it says technical divisions of people of Israel. Then it gives you the precept, Jeremiah 2 and 4 and Jeremiah 31 and 1. We're going to get them too. Let's go to Exodus 12 and 21 and see what that says, because they told us to go here. This is Exodus 12 and 21. Exodus 12 and 21. It reads, It says, Exodus 12 and 21, it reads, Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel. So this is concerning Israel. It ain't talking about nobody else except Israel. It says, Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families. What families? The families of Israel, because it said, Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel. It says, Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. Now remember, Genesis 28 and 14, right? When it says families, Strong's Concordance H4940 and the Brown Driver Briggs Lexicon, it says a family connection. So in Genesis chapter 28 and 14, we just clearly just proved that this is talking about all the families of the nation of Israel. That's in Genesis 28 and 14. That's what it's talking about when it says Genesis 28 and 14, when it says this. Genesis 28 and 14, it says, And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families, right? All the families of who? All the families of the nation of Israel, of the earth be blessed. How do we know? Well, again, we just went to the Brown Driver Briggs Lexicon for Strong's Concordance H4940 for families to Genesis 28 and 14. It says a family connection of individual and Passover. Exodus 12 and 21. We just read it. We're going to read it again. Exodus 12 and 21. Exodus 12 and 21. And it reads, Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. Let's read Jeremiah 2 and 4, because that's what they also told us to go to in Brown Driver Briggs Lexicon 2. Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 4. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Jeremiah 2 and 4. Jeremiah 2 and 4. And this is what it reads. This is Jeremiah 2 and verse 4. And it reads, it says, Hear ye the word of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, O house of Jacob. Remember we read in Genesis 28 chapter how the Lord gave Jacob a dream, right? And in that dream he saw angels ascending and descending from heaven on a ladder, right? The name of that machine that I work out on at the gym, that's called Jacob's ladder, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, Hear ye the word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Put this up to the camera, right? So, Jeremiah 2 and 4. Hear ye the word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, O house of Jacob. So the Lord is speaking to the house of Jacob and all the families of the house of Israel. That's why Genesis chapter 28 and verse 14, for that word families, Strong's Concordance H4940, and the Brown Driver's Lexicon, the Brown Driver's Briggs Lexicon, it says a family connection of individual and Passover. We read Exodus 12 and 21. And then it said technical divisions of people of Israel, Jeremiah 2 and 4. I'm going to read it again. Jeremiah 2 and 4. Hear ye the word of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Now Genesis chapter 28 and verse Genesis chapter 28 and verse 14 makes more sense now. When the Lord said that all the families of the earth shall be blessed, who is all those families? All the families of the nation of Israel. We just proved it. And we're going to continue to prove it because they also told us to go to Jeremiah 31 and 1. Jeremiah 31 and verse 1. Put this up to the camera. Jeremiah 31 and 1. It says, At the same time, said the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, well, I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. That's Jeremiah 31 and 1 right there. I'm going to read that one again. The Lord want me to read that. It says, At the same time, said the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, will I be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. The Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is the God of Israel. Matter of fact, I'm going to get another precept and end it off. This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 27. We're right to it. Barakatah Yahushai. Put that up to the camera too. Joel chapter 2 and verse 27, it says, and ye shall know that I am in the midst. This is the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai speaking. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. The Lord's people is Yasharallah, okay? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So I'm going to wrap it up, Akim. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men of great millstone who teach us this truth in righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. Let's stay strong, Akim. We almost home. Let's keep pushing. Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.